Well, if you didn't think that the GLE Coupé was quite enough for you, don't worry, AMG have a plan for you as well. Given their usual proclivity for snippy titles, meet the AMG GLE 53 4MATIC Plus Coupé. I will admit AMG have faced some easier challenges. Usually they take a standard Mercedes and they really beef it up to show all of the sporty components of what it could be. Well, obviously the GLE Coupé was pretty aggressively sporty to start with. So AMG kind of had to go big or go home. Look at this. They needed to make a very clean statement right off the bat. Yes, it's the GLE Coupé, but it's even more. It's an AMG. So gone is the horizontal bar and in with these vertical ones, making a big, bold statement. Coming down slightly lower, you can see how they've beefed up the appearance of the front with these air curtains. And they just add a little bit of dynamism to the overall design that gives it just a little bit more of an aggressive punch. So this is a development car. AMG were very keen to point out that aesthetically, this engine isn't quite done with. But there's no way that we were coming to look at this and not showing you how it sits within the compartment anyway. What you are looking at is a significant upgrade on the standard GLE. This is a 3-litre beast kicking out 435 horsepower. Now the torque numbers are a little bit confusing because of the electric system, the 48-volt electric system that this car has on board as well. So we're going to talk to an expert about that and get a clearer idea of how that power is delivered. But meanwhile, isn't it a lovely treat to see an engine that clearly has a bay big enough to accommodate all of the power that you want to throw at it? We have been joined by Stefan Novak, who's the project manager for AMG Mercedes GLE, GLS, G-Class, and I think that's everything. Does that sound good?
That sounds pretty good.
Now, my first question for you is, obviously the nature of AMG is to take a Mercedes and to make it as sporty as it possibly can be. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment.
So this car, for me, represents a particularly interesting challenge because you're taking a car that is already designed to be agile, sporty, aggressive, the styling, the engines, the performance, the handling, but you have to do more with it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people might look at it and say, come on, that's just the engine and the trim, but you've changed a lot about this car.
Yeah, in order to achieve what you just said, what is really our target, to make this car a pure AMG, a car that has the DNA of AMG. We developed our own front axle to start with. So basically for the regular GLE Coupe, the cradle is attached with mounts. We attached our cradle directly to the body, which gives us a much more precise handling there. We lowered the lower control arm by 20 millimeters, and by that we achieve a different rolling axle of the vehicle. So we have much more car-like handling. This is the target that we fulfill. And that, together with our own elastokinematics on the axle, gives us a really precise ride on the vehicle, as you might experience. So right now we're in comfort mode, which on this bad road gives you a decent ride. And if you go to Sport or Sport Plus, the vehicle changes its behavior. That is because with the driving programs, you influence the shifting behavior of the transmission, your reaction of the engine, your AMG dynamics, which summarizes all of the driving characteristics of your transfer case, for example, which is variable. You can split your torque completely to the rear axle or 50-50 towards the front. And basically that together with the suspension and your AMG ride control, active ride control, which is basically your torsion bars that have an electromechanic actuator. So you're able to really have the car in a dynamic that is pretty fascinating.
So all pretty basic fundamental physics and car design, pretty simple stuff to keep up with. Here's what I want to know. You all work together, obviously,
yeah.
But would you say that the first priority is to look at what you can achieve with the engine within the car, or what you can achieve with the chassis, which will then dictate how much power you can put into the car?
I think that works hand in hand. We have our engines. As you know, this inline 6 also is available in an E53 or a CLS 53, and so it perfectly fits also in this vehicle. And we want to have each vehicle with its characteristics. So we are taking the power of the engine and using that into a package of this vehicle that is an AMG. So it's not about just acceleration. It is about driving a sports car.
We have a bit of clear road, so I think I'm going to change the conversation for a moment, just so I can hear more about what this car's doing when we push it a little bit harder. So talk me through how the car is behaving.
The car is what really all these things we were talking about sum up in a really precise behaving. You have a really good feeling on where you are, what you are going into, and where your limits are. So it's it doesn't let you with a question on can I do that or can I not. It shows you where we are and where we are going, and so that really gives you a unique driving experience.
For a SUV, it's surprising how low the center of gravity feels when you're powering around these corners.
That's what I tried to get at the beginning with the axle. What we did with a lower adaptation of the control arms of the lowers on the front axle, that we have a different roll axis through the vehicle, which results in exactly that, and that's worth all the efforts.
Everything coming together to deliver the best performance that you can get from the car.
Yeah,
it's very pleasing to experience, because it's not just, I think the most important point is it's not just raw power, it really is the application of control, how you manage to get the best out of that power once you have it available to you.
Yeah, because it wouldn't satisfy our customers or our boss if we would just go longitudinal. So if you're not making it through the curve, you're slow and you feel unsafe, and that's not something that a customer expects from AMG.
So talking about AMG customers, what would you say is the defining feature over somebody who takes out a GLE Coupé and says, yeah, that's great, but I think I want a little more? What is it that AMG speaks to in their customer base?
Basically, I think an AMG in every car is a very exclusive product. It has not just one feature. It is when you enter the car, you feel you're an AMG. You're having the AMG seats that give you a good hold also in this driving or dynamics on these curves that we are driving. You're having the AMG steering wheel, which is a little more solid, with these satellites here, where you can influence your driving programs, or you can toggle through functions that you can switch directly on the steering wheel. Your exterior, you already told that you are showing that you're owning something very special, because it is the AMG Grille. It is part of the AMG family, and so it is a variety of measures that we bring into the car and that our customers like. And I think it's not one feature that makes the customer buy that. It's the whole bundle that you get, and that makes this car very special.
Well, I must admit to being slightly intrigued about what comes next. You've managed to achieve something that I didn't think was possible, and that's really delivering a coupe driving style without compromising on comfort, without compromising on the drive, in an SUV package. I really have to take my hat off to you. My question would be, what comes next? Are you going to tell me that it's possible to have all of that available in a G-Wagon as well? Are we going to be tearing around corners in one of those at some point?
Well, I think you have had the chance to drive the new G-Wagon with its new individual front axle. And it is like, if you compare that to its predecessor, it is a completely new car without giving in its character. So it still has been, or we managed to transform the character from the past into the G-Wagon. So it is still unique body style. It is still some kind of enhanced driving, and it is still a G-Wagon. It only has much more preciseness in driving, and so that's basically the genes of AMG that we try to bring into each and every car on a level that the car that is dedicated to the car. It's not like the same thing that we spread over the same over our car lines. We make it individually in order to achieve a sound package for
so
the model.
We know that the world and the market are moving towards SUVs, an ever-increasing rate. 30% of your current lineup, or Mercedes, I should say, current lineup is now SUV sales. Are you convinced? Are you still in love with the car, or are you already bought and sold? Are you an SUV guy, and that's you?
Basically, I am. I'm for the past 18 years responsible for the project of the AMG's SUVs, of the large ones.
But you must be pretty excited now, because we're finally coming into a space. So for 18 years, you've been telling people, no, really, they can be good. They can be good. And people have been saying, come on.
Basically, they have been good, every car for the time of its being. And this is basically with what we can do today. I think we made a large step into where we want to be, and where you have everything. You have a SUV roominess, but you have sports car-like driving.
Right. So, come on, AMG V-Class. People bust. You've got to look for bigger challenges next.
Well, we for the V-Class, we do have an AMG line for customers who want to go sporty, but I haven't heard of anything else than that.
Well, I guess the next exciting step across all of the lines will be the full electrification. Is that something that you look forward to with excitement, or is there a little bit of you that thinks, no, you can't deliver this unless it's with the engine still?
We have to look into various opportunities for the future. And I personally think that there are opportunities for both a combustion engine and electric driving in a combination like you see it here, or however we might come up with. But right now we're satisfied with that pretty much.
Well, the future looks pretty exciting, and if this car's anything to go by, then I think there's an awful lot to look forward to. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, and thank you for showing us one of the most exciting models coming out of AMG anytime soon. Watch out for it.